Hey everybody, it's Garrett here, and I just wanted to drop in real fast and tell you the four main reasons that the entire planet has become like a mental hospital, or like a planet full of victims. How and why that happened, and then a little bit about how you can escape from it. If you want to go into great depth about all this, you can also go watch a free webinar I did recently called 3 Steps to Radical Stress Relief. Which I will put a link for in the comments. But yeah, so this is what I'm going to explain today, is how and why the world became like a mental hospital. And by that I mean people are living with huge degrees of anxiety and depression and past traumas and all this kind of stuff. And they feel because of these 4 reasons, that these things are inescapable, that you just can manage them or cope with them, or you're going to live with them forever. And that is completely untrue. I've witnessed with thousands of my own clients that you can actually live a life like an endless adventure. You can escape from the mental institution and live an amazing life. So let's get into it. And then in future videos, I'll explain a lot more in detail how to escape from that mental hospital of the world. So basically, the number one reason is that we live a sedentary lifestyle. So we're afraid to feel. So historically, most of human history, humans lived a very movement-based lifestyle, even an agrarian lifestyle, growing crops. And even a couple hundred years ago, before the Industrial Revolution, you had people living lives of much greater physical activities. But more recently, it's become sedentary. So we live a sedentary lifestyle. We're afraid to feel, and we get conditioned by school and lazy parents to be sitting all day long and believing information over direct experience and denying essentially a sense of aliveness. Whereas when you would live as a hunter-gatherer or any kind of movement-based lifestyle, you were more used to feeling. You could tolerate greater levels of what now is called anxiety and greater levels of aliveness in your body. And you also had a way to express that and to exercise that every single day. So that's the core reason, and that's not anybody's fault. That's just how things have become. So that should take some weight off of you if you're blaming yourself for this kind of thing. The second one is the truth of your existence. People are not at all aware of the truth of their own existence. We get trained to think that everything must go our way. It has to go my way all the time, or something's wrong, or there's a problem. This makes you afraid of surprises and afraid of spontaneity and unable to surf the changing tides of your real life. So we end up living in our minds and in words instead of in the sensory reality that's all around us. So the main point of this is that no one ever said life would go this certain way, that nothing so-called bad or challenging or upsetting would ever happen to you. That is the nature of life. That is the truth of your existence. You're going to go through all kinds of intense experiences for the entire time, and there's nothing that's going to change that except your attitude toward it or your approach to life. Now, if you're going on an adventure, you know there's going to be challenges. You know there's going to be unknown surprises and issues that arise throughout that adventure, but they don't upset you. They don't make you just quit. They don't make you feel like a victim. You knew that getting into it. So if you can see your life as an adventure, as an endless unfolding adventure, then when challenges and upsets arrive, you can surf through them. You can wade through them. As I've mentioned in previous videos, you can dig out of the avalanche and continue to climb the mountain. Number 3 is the denial and the ignorance of death. We deny the presence of death in our day-to-day life. There's this big black hole waiting for us at the end of life, and we watch other people go through it, but we kind of avoid thinking about it as much as possible. And so the way to look at this is that you're never really a victim. Yes, intense events and intense things can happen to you, but you're never a victim. You're just a witness of the flow of impersonal events in your life. So if you can witness your life as a flow of events, all different kinds, and a flow of sensations and feelings inside you, but the meaning we put on them is not as important as we think it is. And then be aware of death at the end, the big black hole at the end of our life. That's going to put everything into perspective. It's going to make you see life as it really is, as opposed to getting too much lost in thoughts and ruminations. And then finally, the fourth the fourth reason that the world has become like a mental institution is because the way we define and perceive stress, anxiety, and depression, or what's called stress and anxiety and depression. So with stress, you end up with this idea, I can't handle it. I can't handle this stress. But actually, you don't even know how much you can handle. You have no idea how much you can actually handle in life. And feelings can't kill you. They just can't. Feelings and sensations aren't going to kill you, no matter how intense they are, no matter how much you want to avoid them. But embracing life as an adventure will allow you to handle everything and, in fact, even to celebrate it. Now, anxiety, another way to perceive what's called anxiety is unused life force. It's knocking around inside you. It's potential that you're wasting. And the fear isn't a feeling, it's the unconscious acknowledgement of the truth that your life is ticking away and you're not enjoying it. So it brings us back to number 3, that you haven't really faced that big black hole at the end of your life, but you're feeling a sense of anxiety because you're wasting your life by not being present and by not really going for what you really want to do, what you really want to accomplish or experience in your life, which of course there's no reason not to go for it. So when you're going for it, then the anxiety will turn into a sense of aliveness or excitement, and you can run with that. You can use that force to propel you forward instead of to hide out from life and then become depressed. So that's the third issue that we've defined or misdefined. When you believe you can't handle too much excitement or intensity or life force, you crawl into bed and refuse to feel anything further. So why? Well, because movement makes you feel alive and it forces you back to the gates of anxiety again. It brings you back to that sense of aliveness that you don't want to experience. So that's essentially the wheel of samsara that the Buddha or the Buddhists talk about, is that you feel this stress and you consider it suffering, then you get to a sense of anxiety where you think you can't handle it and it's really intense, and you try to avoid that and you go into depression, you sink into depression. And when you start moving again, you end up back at anxiety, and the wheel goes on and on and on. So that's what I've got for today. Basically the 4 ways that the world has become a mental institution. And then the ways that you can escape it. Well, you can start by getting used to feeling and tolerating a lot more frustration and feeling in your body. You do that with the radical undoing exercises, with breathing exercises. And then if you want to get really deep into that and overcome and escape that mental institution forever, then you should come to the UK in August for the big workshop. It's 2 weekend intensives and then a week of adventures in between, sharing a big house during the week, and then also staying at this beautiful organic farm. It's been converted into like a great place for vacations, and then also go swimming in the river and have delicious food and all kinds of other things. So if you want to escape that mental institution forever in your own life and embrace the unfolding adventure, we do that in 3 parts. Number 1 is coming back home to the body. Again, that's radical undoing, breathing, all kinds of body-based exercises. Number 2, imagination training, stopping, trusting the thoughts, and then getting into a huge array of exercises that have to do with the mind and imagination, creativity, expressiveness. And then finally, the third one, which is embracing the endless adventures. Once you embrace and see life as an adventure, you won't be surprised when it doesn't go the way you think it's supposed to go. Hello, Mary. Hello, Hamid. Hello, Antonia. Nice to see everybody. So yeah, that's what I was talking about, was the four reasons that the world has become like a mental hospital, and then ways that you can escape it. And Hamid, you should also consider coming to the UK workshop. We're going to be doing some intensive weekends on radical undoing, and then also during the week a bunch of adventures and exploration. So yeah, that's what I've got for everybody today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this fun frame. It's like the mental institution that the world has become. So don't believe your complaining friends. Don't believe your own rumination. You can escape stress, anxiety, and depression completely. Well, you never escape stress, but you'll see it as excitement and part of that unfolding adventure that your life really is. So I hope you enjoyed that, and it's kind of a funny take on things to consider the world a mental hospital, but people operate in that way. You have billions of people taking antidepressants and antipsychotics and all this medication. I think it's completely unnecessary in almost all the cases. If you can just learn to tolerate frustration, anxiety, and then see your life as an adventure with this big black hole of death at the end, that's going to bring you back down to reality. Stay grounded, stay present, trust your own experience over secondhand information, and you're going to have a really good life. So happy to see everyone, and I'll be doing a lot more of these videos soon, so have fun. And I'll put the link, like I said, for the longer webinar I did about all this stuff, and then also a link for the UK workshop. But definitely consider coming. It's going to be an amazing time. Get to spend 2 weekends and then a whole week together doing all kinds of transcendence adventures, bridging the gap between body and mind, and showing you how exactly to embrace that endless adventure that your life truly is. All right, have fun. See you soon.